Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Once again, we're only doing a top 5 this week. Sorry. I am going through the top 5 books that I got in 2023. I don't normally buy a bunch of books, but this was a good year. There was a lot of things that I learned from books, and there was a lot of new books that came out that were very interesting to me that I was first learning about, and hopefully they will interest you as well. So let's take a peek at the top 5 books that I got in 2023. Number 5. I was fascinated by this one. This is the 2022 The Green Guide of Fancy Serial Numbers, a Beginner's Guide by R.B. Edgar and Alan A. Moss. Now, this book is one of the first books out there that actually dives into fancy serial numbers. They went through a lot of work categorizing every single possible thing you could call any serial number. They went through definitions. They gave them all descriptions. They gave them each a number. They call it a CS number. CS would be for currency systems, so it was a currency system number. And not only did they do that, they put pictures of different ones. They gave detailed explanations of what they are. They also put in stuff like how rare a particular number might be. They call it the recurrence level. When they print serial numbers, you're talking out of 100 million. So now you'll know how many of a particular type can be found per 100 million. So it's great that they put that together like that. So when it comes time to determine whether or not you have a fancy number, looking in here will give you an idea of how rare it is. Now, they did put in some prices, but the prices are very broad in their range, and they also were not afraid to put 0 for the value. They talk about value as OFV, which is over face value. So it's always interesting to see, the average. I mean, here's a prime example. Over face value on a radar, they're talking between $5 and $50. So that's a pretty broad range. And that's decent for them to give that kind of range. And they're also not afraid to put zeros, like I said. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of fancy serial numbers out there. Some are extremely common and don't have any additional value, but that didn't have them shy away from actually putting them in the book. So that's number 5. Number 4, much bigger book here. This is Seeing America Through Old Paper Money, Pictures from a Distant Country. This is an incredible book, and I wish I could get the whole thing in here. This book is divided into 2 parts. The first part are different chapters about different vignettes. Every chapter is its own different thing. They're talking one chapter is history. There's stuff about presidents. There's stuff about expansion. There's stuff about women and children. Stuff about daily lives. There's modern technology for the time. And what it does is it breaks down the actual vignettes on many of the notes. Now, vignettes were used and reused, so you can find different notes that have the same vignette. So to have a book that goes into great detail about the individual vignettes, that's pretty cool. Now, that's the first half of the book. Like I said, 9 chapters. You have 9 ways that are subdivided in here. But then the second half of the book shows the actual notes themselves so that you can actually try to find the notes with the vignettes that they're talking about, which makes that extremely helpful in adding to your own collection. When you see a vignette that really interests you, now you know what the bill is to look for, and you've got something to go on. So that is just really incredible. Great book to add to the collection once again. Pictures from a Distant Country, Seeing America Through Old Paper Money. I've highlighted this one before. There's all the good stuff there. You can pause it if you want to read it. That is number 4. Number 3. I bought this book early in the year. It's United States Paper Money Errors, Comprehensive Catalog and Price Guide. Always good to have price guides for errors because errors are a huge part of collecting. Everybody thinks everything is an error without having a piece of literature helping you understand what an error actually is. Well, First, you want to know if it's an error. And then the second question is, what's it worth? This book is really good at helping you out in that category. It tells how notes are printed. It explains the different types of errors. It explains different degrees of the particular error. It gives prices to give you ideas as to how much an error is worth, if it's a minor, a moderate, or a major. It's not full color, but it doesn't have to be. It gives so many different examples, not only of the notes, but in each denomination. So a very helpful book when it comes to trying to discover errors. This will give you an idea of what stuff is actually worth. That is number 3. That's one of my favorite books on errors. Number 2. This was pretty cool. This is Collecting Confederate Paper Money. And this is the field edition from 2014 by Pierre Frick. And Pierre Frick, excellent author on the subject. This book is amazing. You're talking about Confederate money from the Civil War, and you're talking about a time frame from 1862 to 1865, and the book is that thick. The book is divided up by type, from the type 1 all the way to the type 65 or 71. What's the last one? I don't remember here. Type 70, type 71. So you have all 71 types on here. And when they analyze, and analyze is a great word, when they analyze each type, they show you the note. They show you, here's a contemporary counterfeit, and what to look for to help determine whether or not you have a counterfeit note. Having them side by side with the real one is incredible. Then they go through so many different price ranges. They talk about different grading companies, how they value the note. They talk about different varieties. Here are different varieties of the note for this particular one. And of course, the more you get into it, the more different varieties you're going to find. I mean, they get so specific about each of the notes. And then for the different varieties, they also list prices as well. So now you know that, this note in very good is $175, but this one, $8,000. So yeah, it's kind of important to know which is which. Imagine having this book and having a little bit of time on your hands and just once a week going through eBay and looking to see if you can't score one of those $8,000 notes for $150. That is the importance of a book like this, Collecting Confederate Paper Money. Great, great, great resource. I just wish I had the time to cherry pick a lot of the auctions, knowing that I've got this much knowledge in my hand. I do on occasion. I just wish I could do it more often. Great book. Anyway, that was number 2. And finally, number 1. I didn't even know this book existed. This is the U.S. Error Note Encyclopedia. Now, I thought this error book was great. I was able to find this book. Most of the time you will hear about this book, you won't see it anywhere. This book, I haven't even heard of, and it's the 2nd edition. U.S. Error Note Encyclopedia by Stephen M. Sullivan. There are times when I show this book and people think that I'm showing notes. I showed one of the eBay scammers. I said, look, I looked it up in this book. And he says, that's not the error. And I'm like, you're an idiot. This is the book. This encyclopedia, there's no other way to put it, has so much more in-depth information about all the different items that you're going to see. Not only does it talk about the errors and talk about how it becomes that way, it also goes into detail about things that you may have heard of that are errors that really aren't. When they start talking about some types of ink contaminations or some other miscellaneous thing may be in here, and they will flat out say, no, that doesn't exist. You will never find one like that. Those are altered notes. And that is just great that it goes into that kind of detail. It covers all the major different types of errors, the minor different types of errors. It talks about price. It talks about large size notes versus small size notes. It tells you how this stuff can happen. It tells you how the BEP considers different things. As good as the first book was, this one is even better, much more detailed. And I don't know what else to say about it. If you ever spot this book anywhere and you're the slightest bit interested in errors, what a great pickup. All right, so that is my top 5 books that I got in 2023. Hopefully you guys will search out some of these titles, go to a major show, see if you can't find one of these, because they are incredible. All right, guys, if you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.